We will get started by welcoming in student athletes from New Mexico. The Lobos, 26-9, winners of the Mountain West Championship. They're the 11th seed in the West. They'll play number 6 Clemson in the second game tomorrow. We're joined up here to my left, Jamal Mashburn Jr., senior, and sophomore Donovan Dent. We'll open it up for questions. If you'll raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you all, and just remind you to start with your name and affiliation and direct which student athlete your question is to. We'll start right here.
Van Tate, CBS affiliate, KRQE, Channel 13 in Albuquerque. Jamal, start with you. Do you feel, you guys, the way you played at that Mountain West Conference tournament, it was almost like you guys locked into a different gear. Is that fair to say? This is like you guys, whatever was going on through the whole year, everybody was on the same page now. Let's go.
Yeah, we just found a way to click at the right time, and I think that just goes to a testament of, how well we practice together and how serious we take practice. And we never took a practice off, and no matter how we felt, no matter coming off a win or a loss, we treated it the same way. And we were just able to click at the right time. I always say defense wins those type of games and wins those championships. And when we're connected on that end, we're phenomenal. So that's what I would say.
I would say the exact same, basically. Our defense was amazing that whole last week. I feel like it just created our offense and everything. So really the whole thing we harped on all season was just being able to play defense because, that was our knock last year. And, that's really what won us that last weekend.
Come right here.
Isaac Bourne, Mid-Major Madness. You guys had kind of a rough stretch towards the end of the season, but then you guys, put that beside you guys and went to the conference tournament and won it all. So how does that speak to y'all's ability to work through adversity? And then also just to what momentum does that bring you guys with into the tournament?
I think for us, we definitely had a tough stretch at the end of the year, but like I said, we never took a practice off, and we stayed humble about the process and just continue to put our best foot forward each and every day, and tried to stay present in the moment, and not think about we had a bad Air Force loss, and that's going to be the determination of our season. We didn't let that happen, so we stick together, and we got great leaders on our team, me included, and this guy to my left included. So we felt confident going into the tournament, and we feel confident going into March Madness as well.
On to the back row.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal, and that's loud. For both of you, real quick, since Mash, you missed the regular season finale with the flu. Donnie, you missed the Mountain West Championship with the flu. Are you two here because you're isolated from the team, or are you guys feeling okay?
No, we're feeling good. We're feeling great.
Okay. Yeah. Donnie, missing that championship game and kind of the culmination. I know you played 12 minutes, but you were at the end of the bench and things didn't look good. The culmination and that celebration and thousands of New Mexicans there and New Mexico flags and all that going on, and you not really being able to kind of enjoy it as much as maybe you thought you would all season long. I'm curious what kind of went through your mind during all that, and is there something sort of to prove in any way because you did miss that game kind of?
Yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit, but sitting down the bench, watching my team do what they had to do, they played amazing. It was amazing to watch from the sideline, and it was just it felt good, proud moment, really. I know I didn't get to contribute that much. The sickness held me down a lot, and it was just great watching them play and win. Not being able to celebrate just means you got to do it again next year, so I'll actually be able to celebrate next year, so I'm not really stressed about that.
Right here.
Will Weber from the Santa Fe New Mexican. A lot has been made since the seedings came out that New Mexico was disrespected, that the Mountain West was disrespected. I'm just curious, with so many people across the country picking New Mexico not only to win this game and maybe go as far as a Sweet 16 or Elite 8, what's your feelings about the national perception this team's got in the last few days?
Let Jamal go first.
Yeah, I think it's a blessing, honestly. I think I didn't feel disrespected or anything like that. That's just what it is, and we just got to go out there and play basketball. So, everything is in our control right now. So, I don't look at it as a disrespect. I'm just blessed that we're here and we're able to, have an opportunity to play a great brand of New Mexico basketball. So,
Donovan?
Seedings are seedings. You can't really pick and choose them, so we're just going to go out there and play the best we can, and it's all up to us, really.
Therese Walker with the Associated Press. To follow up on that for both Jamal and Donovan, with what San Diego State did last year, is it more the idea of, showing that this isn't, that they weren't a one-hit wonder, that it's more Mountain West and that it is a tough conference, and trying to build on what's come before rather than pressure of trying to live up to something else?
Yeah, I think I think this Mountain West Conference has really grown over the at least my 3 years being in this conference. Man, the competition is high level. The dudes that we play, I mean, top to bottom it's a great conference, man. I mean, I think it's going to continue to get better. It's going to continue to grow, and I think this year will kind of have a platform for it to continue to grow. With more games that the Mountain West Conference wins in this tournament. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's going to continue to get better.
We're going to go to the back row and then back up here.
Hey, Jamal. Mark Giannotto from the Commercial Appeal here in Memphis. I'm curious, have you and your dad ever compared notes on, like, what it's like for playing for Richard Pitino and what it was like for playing for Rick Pitino? Have you guys ever talked about the differences in them?
Not really, honestly. Not really. I don't really have much to say about that. Not really. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sure you've been asked this several times before, but I'm just curious. You obviously followed Coach Pitino from Minnesota to New Mexico. How long has that relationship been there? Was it something that just started in the recruiting process? Was it something because of your dad's relationship with his dad? Like, how did that all play out, and why do you think you've stuck with him like this?
Richard, he's seen my game and seen me as a man develop and grow ever since my 8th grade year. So he's took the initiative to recruit me and really understand who I am and and my game and what I bring to the table and stuff like that. So that relationship's kind of started early, and he had to recruit me. It wasn't just like my dad played for Rick, and y'all just get my son. No, I had other options, and he had to initiate and recruit me. And it's a blessing that I was able to be with him for 4 years. So he's a great coach and a great guy. So I can't complain.
Isaac Bourne, Mid-Major Madness. This is a question for either of the players, but with such a fast pace of play this season, how are you guys able to mitigate the turnovers, having one of the lowest turnover percentages in the nation?
Donovan.
I mean, really just taking care of the ball. We don't make too many dumb plays. We make smart decisions. We keep it real simple, just a lot of ball stream stuff, make the right read, really. And Coach P does a good job of just letting us play free, so we're not worried about that turnover stuff. I mean, it's going to happen. It's part of the game. I think we just, as a team, as a collective, we got to take care of the ball, and we do a great job of it.
Donovan, you guys got a chance to see tape on Clemson now and stuff like that. What do you have to do to be successful against them?
Just play the type of defense that we know we could play. We know they have 2 solid bigs in the middle that rebound, play hard. We know we got to control P.J. Hall a good amount. I mean, really it's up to us. We just got to guard the ball and play our way we know how to play.
Okay, we'll go to the back row here.
For either one of you, Jamal, you've 3 years, so maybe you more than Donnie even, but last week the world got to see Jalen like you guys have known him for a while. I'm curious if last week was any different from what you saw in Jalen House, or if that's just the same Jalen you guys have gotten to know over the years.
Somebody asked me a similar question about him, about his antics and all that. And like I said, when I was here and the pit was empty and there was nobody checking for us, he was yelling at fans then and saying stuff to nobody, and that's because that's just who he is. So I respect the heck out of that kid for just always being who he is, and always, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, no matter if it's on the biggest stage, no matter if we play in Air Force, he's going to be the same kid. So there's nothing different that we saw.
Okay, we're inside our final 5 minutes.
Lee Faria, KOB TV, Albuquerque. Donnie, who would you compare these guys to that you've already played?
They remind us a lot of kind of like Boise. They have 2 bigs and they're play strong, play physical. It's going to be kind of like another Boise game for us, I feel like.
And what's the game plan? Is it that physicality? Is it running the floor? What is it?
Just being physical and playing at our pace. We know we're a fast-paced team. I think they're kind of more of a slower-paced team, run their sets a little bit, and we just outrun and play physical.
Have you guys noticed the fan support even all the way to Memphis? Because I say that I've ran into a couple of Lobo fans in the airport, and they were saying, "Oh, there's no expense that's going to keep me from this," and I was just like, "Okay."
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I saw a lot of people. They're also like doing like this bus stuff. All the flights were sold out. It's tremendous community and a lot of support on the back of us.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, we'll go to the back.
Mash kind of grew up in this a little bit, but Donnie, this is your first experience at the NCAA tournament. It's just getting started, but what's the feeling like for you?
I mean, it seems like it's going to be a really fun weekend. We got a lot ahead of us, a lot of games to win, and I'm just ready. I'm excited for it all.
Any others? All right, guys, we will let you get ready for practice. Thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Set to be joined by Coach Pitino in just about 5 minutes. We are joined by New Mexico head coach Richard Pitino. His third season at the school, has his team in the postseason for the second time, including its first NCAA tournament in a decade. Coach, we'll let you start with a statement before we open up for questions.
Well, obviously very grateful, excited to be in this situation right now. Memphis is an amazing basketball city, and we're honored, obviously, to be a part of one of the best sporting events in all of sports. So our guys are excited about it. We know we have a very tough challenge on our hands with Clemson, but we're certainly very grateful for this opportunity, and hopefully we can make the most of it.
We'll open it up for questions. Again, if you'll raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start in the back and then come right here to the front. Go ahead.
Isaac Bourne, Mid-Major Madness. You guys play with such a fast style of play, but are have one of the lowest turnover percentages in the country. So how do you guys mitigate your turnovers with such a style of play that in most offenses would cause more turnovers?
Well, we shoot it so fast we don't turn the ball over. I think that has a lot to do with it. But I think, for the most part, it's in the hands of guys who are good decision makers. It's whether it's Dent, whether it's House, whether it's Mashburn. For the most part, they're not a high turnover type player. So, and I think one of the underrated reasons why we play fast is we get a lot of steals, and those normally lead to breaks. So. More than anything, it's just making the right play offensively. And when you're playing essentially 3 point guards together, they're going to do that.
Go to our right.
Will Weber, Santa Fe, New Mexican. I know how much you like answering questions that we've already asked you a million times before. So I'm going to ask you about the NIL collective. Look, we're in a different age with transfer portal, NIL. It's a crazy time, but how important is the NIL collective for UNM? I know people are here, and is Kurt Roth the most valuable person in the basketball?
Well, I think it's when you first started in this profession, it was about facilities. Then it was about nutrition, right? And, can we build all this up? Housing, it kind of changes every couple of years. And the biggest thing about NIL is if you don't have it, you have no chance. Is it the end-all, be-all? No, but if you don't catch up and compete, it's going to be very, very difficult for you. So it's like everything in this profession. It's always going to be an arms race, and everybody is, I think, understanding it a little bit better now than when it first started. So it's just a different world. I feel like we have a different job right now. Doesn't mean it's all bad. That's for sure. And it's like they said in the movie Moneyball, right? You adapt or die, and you got to do that.
Front row.
Mitch Davis, The Mitch Davis Show. Coach, I want to ask you about your dad and kind of watching him in the NCAA tournament, winning national championships and having so much success in this tournament. What did you learn and take away from your dad's career in the NCAA tournament? And have you sought out advice on this NCAA tournament run for New Mexico?
No, I have not sought out advice. He's been a little bit busy with his season. I've been lucky enough. This will be the 9th tournament that I've been in, 3rd as a head coach. And, I think more than anything, when you make a run like we made in the conference tournament where it's just so emotional and our fans are there and it's a high of all highs, and then you come to the first round of the NCAA tournament, there's a lot of media, and then there's the open practice and all those things and longer timeouts, right? And obviously that win or go home pressure, but you can't make it more than what it is. So I've been lucky, to be at a lot of NCAA tournaments growing up, and then as my coaching career has evolved, I've been a part of it. So, you got to get them as prepared as possible. You want them to certainly enjoy the moment. 80% of the teams in college basketball are not playing in this, so it is a privilege, and you got to enjoy it.
Go to our left, Coach.
Coach, Donnie had mentioned that Clemson reminds him of Boise. Do you see similarities there?
Well, they had asked us, who do they remind you of in the league? And we said Boise maybe. Clemson is a well-coached. P.J. Hall is as talented as it gets for a big guy. They've got good size and length. So it's going to be a great challenge. So somewhat similar, but not exactly the same. But that was kind of the comparison we tried to give the guys.
RQE, Albuquerque. Coach, you mentioned the emotional fan base. On the way out here, we ran into a couple of fans who were just saying there's no expense that would keep them from this. And upon you hearing that, and seeing that you feel like you're supported even this far away, right?
I think it's one of the top 5 fan bases in all of college basketball, and you could even move it up a little bit by our lack of success versus some of the other amazing fan bases. The experience of winning in Vegas Saturday night, it wasn't just a normal fan experience. I mean, there's people crying, they're emotional. When we landed the next day at the airport, it's just special, and hopefully our players see how unique that is, because it's not like that everywhere else. So I have no doubt, obviously Memphis is a little bit harder to get to than some of the other sites, but I have no doubt that our amazing fans will get here as best they can. We know it's certainly challenging.
We're going to stay in the center and then come to the front row.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. I know I've asked you about Jalen a lot this season, and it's kind of come in a almost how do you defend what he does on the court as his coach kind of thing. I'm curious, instead of necessarily trying to defend him as a coach, if you had to describe what people are about to see this week who haven't seen Jalen House before, how would you describe what they're about to see?
Unbelievable, endless amounts of energy. Somebody had asked me, was I concerned with 4 games in 4 days? And I made the comment, I'm not concerned about number 10. He will not be tired, and it doesn't matter. Plays so very, very hard, plays with amazing emotion, spirit. His leadership has gotten substantially better over the years. He's commanding huddles. He's commanding the locker room. He obviously different for an NCAA tournament, but he does not care to engage in the crowd. That does not affect him in any way, probably motivates him. So he's the type of player that belongs in this amazing tournament.
Go to the front and then 3 on this side.
Wilson Moore, Omaha World Herald. Richard, my question is about Josiah Alec, who's obviously also here in Memphis. Just what did he bring to the table his 1 year in New Mexico, and how much have you followed his path since then?
I haven't followed it much. Certainly focused on the guys on our team, but for the year that he was with us, played very, very hard, rebounded the ball very well, similar to a Jalen House of never really got tired. So you were disappointed when he left, but to see him go back to his hometown where he's from and now being in the NCAA tournament is something that I'm sure is amazing for him.
Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. Richard, with the competition you all beat in those 4 days, and with what San Diego State did last year in this tournament, how much of that does it add pressure? Is it more wanting to help take the next step for the Mountain West, or just see what you all can do as a program alone and just let it stand on its own?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned with saving the Mountain West. I'm more focused on New Mexico. I think the Mountain West had a historic year to get 6 teams in the tournament, and I know people are talking about underseeded, this and that. Let's just remember they got 6 teams in, which is amazing. The theater throughout the year on television was phenomenal. The fans were amazing. So it's a great basketball conference. But for us, when we got here, and I know our local media are probably sick of hearing it, we were 303 in the net, and we had to add 8 players in year 1 off of Zooms. We were able to hit on 2 really good ones, Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House. Sebastian Forsling's been an amazing member of the team as well. And then I think we did a great job in year 2 and year 3 of adding some young guys, adding some older pieces, and now we're sitting in the NCAA tournament. So see if we can take on a really good Clemson team. We know it'll be hard, but we try not to make it bigger than that.
You've got everyone from sitting and former presidents to Alex Bregman picking you guys to either win the national championship or make a deep run in this tournament. I'm just curious what your reaction is to everyone picking the Lobos.
Well, Bregman may be a little bit biased. For the people that don't know, he's from Albuquerque. Other than that, I've always been a believer in, I treat praise very similar as criticism. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I don't know if it fuels our guys. I hope it doesn't. We know if we're able to beat a Clemson team, we're going to have to play very, very well. And all the other stuff is just, it's good for the fans and obviously good for social media.
Going to the front. We're in our last 5 minutes.
Coach, you mentioned earlier the NIL collective that you guys are doing. Can you talk about the evolution of college basketball from, watching as a young kid with your dad to now? You don't have to go to Kentucky or the Big Duke or Carolina to get noticed if you're a player. You can go to the NBA, win a national championship about anywhere in the country.
Yeah, I think television, you used to play on TV. Well, almost all the games are on some type of television streaming or whatever. Then you'd play in front of great fans. I mean, we have one of the best fan bases in college basketball. Then you'd sell facilities. We've got a great facility. So you can go anywhere. I always tell recruits, go to a place where you can be one of the top 15 players in your league. And we have shown in this league, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, that you can come to the Mountain West and you could play in the NBA, you could play overseas, and you can have a high major experience. And our guys are having that.
We go down front, 2 on this side.
Coach, have you made it clear to the guys how hard it is to even get here? I mean, it's been 10 years since New Mexico has even been back here. And that alone gives you a sense of urgency, like, hey, let's take what we got and make the best of it.
Well, I think there's always a sense of urgency at this level, and especially in college basketball. There's only 31 games, and you got to take advantage of every opportunity that you get. I think we are absolutely proud to be in the NCAA tournament in year 3. I think guys like Jalen and Jamal, who came here with kind of a leap of faith. They had never seen Albuquerque. They had never seen campus. And to be able to not only be here but bring our amazing fan base back is something we're proud of. But tomorrow when the ball tips, none of that's going to matter. So it's a win-or-go-home tournament, and we're going to give it our best shot tomorrow.
So I do want to ask you about Clemson, but since you mentioned Josiah, would we have seen JT Toppin this year develop into the freshman star and setting all these records that he did if Josiah was still part of the program?
Probably not. Yeah, so good thing Josiah left. I think that's just the whole part of the deal is you see what we got. We're going to figure it out whenever this tournament is done, what we're going to have stay, leave, and then you figure it out from there. So it's an important month for every team. I'm sure there'll be surprises coming into my office that I never knew of. So you got to be ready. To JT's credit, he took advantage of an opportunity and hopefully continues to do that.
And then obviously we talked a little bit about PJ Hall. I'm curious about the guard matchup, though. Are your guards, is this a guard matchup with Clemson that you see your guards able to take advantage of in any way?
Well, they're bigger than us, right? Which is probably natural with a ACC team. So our guys have got to be scrappy. They got to be tough. I think the best part of Vegas obviously was winning a championship, which was awesome, but the growth of our toughness and our scrappiness and our fight was really good. And with a team that's bigger than you, like the message has been all year, you just got to find a way. And hopefully our guys do that, and everybody's ready to go.
There's time for one more. If there's anything else for Coach. Okay, we'll stay there.
I know Will already mentioned everybody picking you guys. Did you happen to see that Jack Pitino didn't pick you guys to win it all, but he did have you go to the Elite Eight?
It was a little reverse psychology. We're trying to see if we don't jinx us. But, yes, I was sitting with him when he was making out the bracket. I didn't watch his whole thing yet, but it's us against Jack. That's going to be the message in the locker room is let's prove him wrong. If we do go to an Elite Eight, which would be obviously very, very hard. But, yeah, that'll be the sole message is let's prove Jack wrong.
Coach, we will let you get set for practice with your team. Thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.